In this episode of CSI Science Revealed, we'll be discussing the case of Jane Doe and the science behind it. Jane's body was found in the state of rigor mortis, which we will be explaining later in this video.
The contraction of a muscle is essentially the shortening of a sarcomere, which contains the actin and myosin.
In order for a muscle contraction to occur, a few things are needed. A signal, ATP, produced from cellular respiration, and calcium, which is moved by active transport into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Once the signal reaches the axon terminal of the motor neuron, it releases neurotransmitters which start an action potential in the sarcolemma. The action potential travels down the T-tubule and triggers the release of calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum.
Once the calcium is released, it travels to the actin, where it binds with the troponin. This bond triggers the tropomyosin to move, opening the binding sites of the actin. Molecules of ATP travel to the myosin heads and bind to them, causing the myosin heads to move into a high-energy configuration. This allows the myosin heads to bind to the now open actin sites and form a cross bridge. Now the myosin, still attached to the actin, relaxes into a low-energy configuration, pulling the actin and their Z lines closer to the M line or center. Another molecule of ATP is used to break the cross bridge between the actin and myosin. This relaxes the muscle. Now we will relate this information to the case of Jane Doe. When a person dies, everything in their body relaxes, causing all of the ATP and all of the calcium in the body to be released at once. This opens all of the actin binding sites and moves all of the myosin heads into a high-energy configuration. Muscle contraction continues as normal, forming a cross bridge and continuing into a power stroke, contracting the muscle. However, the muscle cannot relax because there is no more ATP to break the bond. The muscle stays in a contracted state until the body begins to deteriorate. A forensic team can use this along with other information to determine how long a person like Jane Doe has been dead.